Hey, it's Mike with Serr.biz right there. Serr.biz, search engine ranking rules. Today, we're going to look at header tags and how they relate to search engine optimization SEO code. So a header tag is like a headline, or is a headline that you would like to see in a newspaper or a magazine or an article, etc. It's the typically bigger text, heavier fonts, bolded, etc., and it lets us know what the article blog post is going to be about. Google really likes H1 tags and H2 tags. The H2 tag typically is underneath the H1 tag after a little summary, and then the next section of the article is H2, and then underneath that we would have H3, H4, H5, H6. In general, from an SEO point of view, from a local business owner point of view, you don't have to worry too much about the code and how to do it per se, because your content management system, WordPress or Joomla, Duda, etc., will typically have a function for you to add a header tag. Often by default, a template on your platform is going to turn your title tag into the H1 tag. So you don't really have to worry about that at all. Although you do want to check your template, and I'll show you in a second how to do that. But what's important is that you do want to have one H1 tag and you want to have one H2 tag. If your article is really long, you want more headlines within that, then use H3s. Then down in the footer, you can use H4, H5, H6, but it's so small that an H6 typically doesn't look anything more than just bold text. Bold text in and of itself gives a little more weight to keywords on a page. But right now we're talking about H1 tags. So let's go take a look at an example of how it all lays out and how you can do it in your platform for yourself. Okay, so we are now over on a little page that I made on WordPress.com. As we talked about before, Serr.biz has a separate little, free blog thing over on WordPress, which I primarily am using, one, for demonstration purposes of this tutorial, but also for distributing my content. It's a good tactic. I write little synopsises, put a link and point back to myself. Google reads that site, finds a link to me, reads my site. It's just a good way to get some quick backlinks and content distribution. Anyway, so we're over on this page on a WordPress website. Now, typically, the title of the blog post that I made on this WordPress site was title of articles usually default to H1 header tags. And that's a good thing. So I don't have to worry about the H1 tag. Then I have a little synopsis here of what the article is going to be about. And then I get into an example showing an H2 tag. And then I have some more information. And then as we scroll down the page, this is an H3 tag. And another bit of information right here. That's an H, or that's not an H tag, that's just bold text, and this SEO note is bold text. So that's how you want to structure your pages. H1 summary, overview, H2 more information, H3 more information, H3, more information in between, etc. Words of caution: don't think you're going to be clever and just put everything in an H1 tag, like the whole article in an H1 tag. That is like spam 101. It will make your page fall out of the top 10 if you're there, and or to make sure you'll never get there. So just use H1 and H2 tags as they were meant and designed to do, which is just that. It's a headline. I can scan the page quickly, kind of figure out if I know that, oh, I want to read that, etc. So now let me show you how you actually make them. It's pretty simple in most content management systems. So now we're going to go to the backside of this WordPress where I can actually edit things. So this title because it's WordPress, it doesn't give me any options. Okay, I don't have any formatting options on this at all in this default template. However, in the next section, my H2 tag, as you can see, I've already tagged it, but let's say it wasn't tagged and I was just writing this. It would have started out as like a paragraph. All I have to do is highlight it and say, use header. And in this case, it automatically went to an H2 tag. In this case down here, it's already an H3, but I could change it if I wanted. I could go 4, 5, 6. I could put it back to a 2. We don't want to do that though. I'm going to reiterate, it's very important. You only want one H1 tag on your page and one H2 tag on your page. H3s are kind of unlimited. H4s and 5s in the footer. H6, who uses them? So anyway, that's how you would change it. So we're going to put that back to an H3 tag. Okay, so now you know what H1, H2, and H3 tags are. It's really important that you only have H1 one time on your page and an H2 one time on your page. And you can have as many H3s as you need. Now, as I said earlier in this video, that most templates turn your title into an H1. Now, though that's true, it's incumbent upon you as the webmaster of your own site or the business owner who's hired a pro to help you, just to check it. And it's very simple to do. So let's go back to that demo and I'll show you how to check to see if your title is actually in an H1 tag. So now we're looking at the public version of the page that I was demoing earlier. And the way you check your template is very simple. I'm using Chrome. Whatever browser you're using is going to have a similar function. I'm just going to highlight this text, which is the title, and I'm going to right click and inspect. And then the code view is going to pop up over here. And voila, look at that. The title of my article is right here, and I can see very easily that it is indeed in an H1 tag. So now, I don't have to worry about it. I know that it's correct. It's in an H1. And so when I'm writing my articles, I write my title, that's going to be H1. And then I have a little summary, and then I can do my next sections. So now we know how to check to make sure our template actually has an H1 tag auto-generated around the title. Most CMS systems are going to have that. Next up, we're going to take a look at alt tags and images. That'll be a pretty good little tutorial. If you have any questions about this tutorial or any of the others, please leave a comment below. I'll be happy to answer as soon as I can. My name's Mike with Serr.biz, Search Engine Ranking Rules. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe.